Let's talk about where to put your learning hours in 2026 and why the answer hasn't really changed, even if the landscape has. JavaScript is no longer just the language of the browser. It runs servers, mobile apps, desktop apps, edge functions, and roughly a third of all AI tooling shipping today. TypeScript is what took that reach and made it scalable enough to build a career on. Together, this stack powers more user-facing software than any other language alive. So, here's the split worth getting straight from day one. Same runtime, same engine, but two very different jobs. JavaScript is the 30-year-old workhorse, dynamic, forgiving, perfect for prototypes, scripts, and learning how the web actually thinks. TypeScript is that same language with a static type system bolted on. It catches roughly half your bugs before the code ever runs, and it's what lets teams safely refactor across thousands of files. Reach for JavaScript when you're moving fast and solo. Reach for TypeScript the moment the code has to live past next month. And once you understand that split, the scale of the thing becomes hard to ignore. 98% of every website on the open web ships JavaScript. It's been the #1 language on GitHub since 2014. 78% of professional developers touched it in the last year, and NPM now hosts over 2.7 million packages, the largest software ecosystem ever assembled. This isn't a trend, it's the substrate. And that substrate pays. Junior web roles start around 80,000, but the curve climbs fast. Mid-level front-end at 130, senior TypeScript roles at 160, and staff front-end engineers clearing 200,000. The lever in the middle of that curve is TypeScript. Same role, same years of experience. Putting TS on your CV is worth 15 to 25,000 a year, because type depth shows up in the first 30 seconds of pair programming. You can't fake it. So where do you actually spend that learning time? The modern JavaScript world breaks into 6 clean categories: frameworks, meta-frameworks, runtimes, build tools, package managers, and back-end APIs. Pick one tool per column and go deep. React with Next.js on Node, Vite for builds, PNPM for installs, Hano on the edge. That's a complete shipping stack. You don't need all 6 columns. 1 column deep beats 6 columns shallow. Every interview, every time. Here's what that stack actually looks like in practice. 15 lines of TypeScript with Hano, a typed user, a typed root handler, a JSON response. The compiler enforces the shape at build time, the parameter is auto-inferred, and on Bun, this cold starts in about 1/10 of a second. Same language on the client, the server, and the edge. That's the leverage. And that same leverage opens up 6 distinct career paths from a single language. Front-end with React, Vue, or Svelte, still the biggest hiring market heading into 2026. Full stack through Next.js or Remix. Back-end on Node, Bun, or Dino. Mobile via React Native. Desktop with Electron or Tori. Yes, VS Code, Slack, and Figma all run on it. And edge functions deployed across 200 cities. Pick one, go deep, and the TypeScript skill itself transfers to every other column for free. But here's where the pick one decision gets sharper. Take the same project 6 months in, and the gap between plain JavaScript and TypeScript becomes brutal. Renaming a function? Find and replace across 200 files versus right-click, rename, done. A typo in a key? Discovered in production versus caught at compile time. Refactoring a model costs you 3 days and a pile of bugs. Or the compiler just shows you every break. This isn't preference. It's leverage, compounding daily. And that same leverage is exactly why AI tooling has converged on TypeScript. Copilots write cleaner TS because the type system narrows what's even possible. Wrong code simply won't compile, so agents fail loudly instead of hallucinating silently. The whole stack reflects this. Versal AI SDK, LangChain.js, Mastra, Workers AI, all JS and TS first. 8 lines, and you're streaming GPT-5 to a user at the edge. That's the default recipe for 2026. So how do you actually get there? 4 months, one focused track. Month 1, modern JavaScript. Variables, async, modules, the DOM. Don't linger, but don't skip it. Month 2, TypeScript from day 1 in a real project. Let the compiler teach you. Month 3, pick a framework, Next.js or SvelteKit, and ship a real app with auth, a database, and a live URL. Month 4, tests, CI, a blog post. At the end, you don't have a tutorial. You have a portfolio. Now, the traps. 5 mistakes that quietly cost juniors their first year. 1. Skipping JavaScript for TypeScript. Closures and hoisting don't care about your types. 2. Using any everywhere. You're paying TypeScript's tax for none of its benefits. 3. Framework of the week disease. Pick one, go deep. 4. Tutorial hell. Build the boring CRUD app first, watch the course second. And 5. Ignoring the fundamentals of the web. HTTP, caching, CORS. When you don't know what a 304 means, no framework saves you. So here's the bottom line. JavaScript runs the web. 98% of every site you've ever visited. TypeScript is what turns that skill into a career, with a $15,000 to $25,000 premium and an AI tooling ecosystem built around it. 4 months of focused work gets you a portfolio that's live on the internet. So stop reading about it. Run the command, push the repo, and start iterating. Head to Dargslan.com for the books, paths, and cheat sheets to get you there.